Alright everyone, so I am finished. And as you can see, I went with pretty much realistic colors. I didn't want any light reds or bright blues or yellows on my Gundam. I figured I would go with more of a low visibility scheme, and I think he turned out pretty well. So let me go show you some of the details, and the first thing I want to show you is the backpack that I was working on. Okay, as you can see here, there is shading there, but it's not as pronounced. Now the reason for that is because I think I went with too dark of a shade. For the dark shade, I went with black, and I probably should have gone with a dark gray. Because with the black, what happened was the highlight stood out too much, so then I had to blend it a lot, and then the blending kind of took down the impact of the shading. So that's something to consider when you're choosing your colors for your Gundam. And as you can see, I put gunmetal accents on the engines and whatever those two things are on his back. Now let's move on to the shield. The shield, I thought, came out pretty well. As you can see, the lines are pretty defined, but they still look realistic. And all I did here was just paint the entire shield dark gray, used light gray to work from the middle out, and there you go. Just the same process over and over again. Alright, now let's go for his head. Now note about the head. I actually snapped a piece on it because I wasn't reading the instructions carefully enough. So if you're going to put one of these things together, do yourself a favor. Make sure that you're following the instructions exactly, because once you snap two pieces together, they're really hard to get apart. And then you're doing a lot of gluing and puttying and sanding to try to get the thing put back together again correctly. If I just spent 5 seconds reading the instruction manual carefully, it could have saved me a few hours of work. But as you can see, he's back again, and he's looking pretty good. Again, on his chest you can see the shading happening. Surprisingly, the thighs are where the shading worked the best. They're pretty defined, yet it doesn't look unrealistic. At least I don't think so. Okay, let's move back. I don't know why everything turns blue when I hold the iPhone at certain angles. I guess it's trying to color correct or something. Alright, as you can see here, this is the gun. And for those of you wondering about weathering, I did a little bit of weathering. I don't know if you can tell, but in his collar area. Right. Let me see if I can get that. Yeah, in his collar area I did some weathering. In his head area I did some weathering where it just looked a little too glossy for me, or bright to me. But for the most part I didn't weather him too much because I'm not a big fan of heavy weathering. I think it just makes him look a little dirty. And I felt that the shading itself, especially on the gun, I mean, that looks pretty weathered to me. But if you want to weather, it's just a simple process. I use NATO black for mine, but you can probably use black. And just hold your airbrush at a distance and dust from, I would say probably 6 inches away. That's a rough estimate. Don't get too close, obviously, otherwise the paint will bunch up. But yeah. Alright. So there he is, finished. And let me apologize again for how long it took me to finish this Gundam and get this final video up. Like I said, I've been really busy, but he is done, and yeah, I'm pretty happy with him. So hopefully you've gained some knowledge from these videos on how to build your Gundam model. Obviously, if you're a master, this is just child's play for you, but if you're beginning, then maybe you've gotten some decent information out of these videos. Alright, well that's it from me. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.